make them, and that's where the line comes with a little construction paper and a little bit of glue. Imagination is a very powerful thing. You can make anything happen. So it goes back to the whole story is taking place. The children are actually acting or playing using their imagination, and Mady in the traditional sense doesn't exist. She's Hallie's stuffed animal, and Linus doesn't really exist. He's a stuffed animal in Alexander's bedroom. And so when you take it to that level, you think that maybe the children were actually acting out through their stuffed animals and taught themselves the lesson. In other words, let's say Alexander or Captain No-Beard was not being nice to Hallie's stuffed animal, Mady the goat. It wasn't really Linus, but maybe Alexander through Linus. And he learned he actually reasoned it out and taught himself with his toys that he was doing the wrong thing. I'm just saying that's another way to look at it. You know, how children play with toys.
It is.
And project themselves
Absolutely.
through their toys. And
that is a really good idea. So that's a nice feature for parents who are listening. If you're looking for books that are not only educational in their stories and help you find ways of dealing with natural situations that are going to come up in your children's life, the Krugo's Coconuts is just a wonderful and charming way of addressing, teasing and poking at other children, which eventually leads to those bullying traits. So it's a wonderful book. And then I went a little further, Carol. I love coconuts, number one. I used to make little art pieces out of coconuts myself. So I kind of thought myself about, some of the projects that you can do with coconuts. And one of the things that I believe you can even see this on Pinterest, where people will, get the meat out of the coconut and leave the shell, half a shell, and then they paint it or decorate it and turn it into a flower pot or fill it with wax for like a candle. And so there's lots of little crafts, and I've seen people make bird feeders and just all kinds of interesting little things that you can do with those coconut shells. So that's another nice thing about reading books, is that when you get the moral or the lesson of the story, and then it also often strikes the imagination, like you said, and you can take those ideas and expand on them into doing other things. So we have a nice little, we're about done with part one here on the show. So we found a cute little song, and this is actually, everyone can go to YouTube and see this. This is not produced by Storytellers Campfire. This is the Coconut Song by Michael Wong. And he used this song actually in terms to help children in their learning of the English. So let's take a listen to this song. I think you'll enjoy it.
was adorable.
I just loved that. Yes, and so what he did was when he was trying to teach his students the word coconut in English, he actually had them spell it out. So the whole song is the children spelling the word and singing it, so it impressed in their mind to learn that word. So just another cute activity that kind of came into our mind from there. Well, we certainly have enjoyed presenting The Crew Goes Coconuts. And before we get to part 2, Carole, why don't you share with our listeners where your website is so they can take a look at some of the other work you do as well?
Well, my website is www.carole, C-A-R-O-L-E-P-Roman, R-O-M-A-N.com. And, of course, all the books are on Amazon, barnesandnoble.com. And you can go to my blog. You can find out information in my blog, which is Carole P. Roman Blog Talk. And I also want to add that today is International Talk Like a Pirate Day, so that when you read these books, there's a lot of action of speaking like a pirate, and it's a lot of fun. And if you go on to my Facebook page, we have a lot of stuff revolving around being pirates, like what your pirate name could be and things like that. So please visit. I have a cultural Facebook page. I have an author's, Carole P. Roman author Facebook page, and then I have a Captain-No-Beard Facebook page. So there's 3 of them to choose from, and they all have contests and programs and interesting little tidbits of information.
Wonderful. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun as well. Okay, so we are going to take a commercial break, and then we'll also have a little musical interlude before we come back to part 2. And on part 2, we're going to talk about Fribbet, the frog, and the tadpoles. So take a listen to the music, and then we'll be right back.
Fresh for young readers too. Books and Ballyhoo. Books and Ballyhoo. Keeping it fresh for young readers too. Books and Ballyhoo.
Bryan Company would like to remind parents to teach their children safety rules to help keep the children in our community safe. Use the buddy system. Never walk alone. Don't go into a car or house without your parents' permission, and use a family kids code. Any adult without the kids code do not go with them. This important safety reminder is brought to you by Bryan Company, providing superior services in demolition and roll-off services in Tulare, Kings, and Fresno County since 1971. To learn more, visit online at bryancompany.net.
Fresh for young readers too. Books and Ballyhoo.
Welcome back to Storytellers Campfire in Progress. This is Lady Selah Sue Juris, and I'm here with Carole P. Roman, author of the Captain-No-Beard series. And on the program, we were just focusing on was the crew goes coconuts. And we wanted to share with parents also on that show that there's a lot of interesting websites that you can go to and learn about different trivia when it comes to coconuts, and we kind of enjoyed doing that as well, and also interesting facts and suggestions about how you can address your children after reading a storybook to them on bullying, and questions that you can ask them to kind of draw them out and what they think about it, or if they've had that experience in school or on playgrounds. So lots of interesting things, and just simply Google bullying and teasing, and there's lots of wonderful sites to give you additional information. So, Carol, the fribbet, the frog, and the tadpoles. the character fribbet is just priceless. I mean, when he's sitting here looking on this deck, and he has this very this look on his face, and you're just going, okay, what's going on here? I just love the illustration of him on the front part of the book.
He's adorable, and he's very real to me as a personality. I love his frantic, kind of neurotic reactions to everything. He's very sweet. and I have to say, Bonnie LeMaire, I hear he's here.
Oh, okay. There he is.
Yeah.
Bonnie He's responding
really
to you.
He is. I miss him too. Yeah, Bonnie is terrific with her illustrations. She just really captures all of the children so wonderfully, and their expressions, the stuffed animals' expressions. She really makes it exciting with her illustrations.
She does. She does. And this is quite a unique look, and his body language and everything on here. So you know that this is a frog with a concern. So I really like the lead in, to the story, and everything is kind of water spilling out of buckets everywhere. And I mean, it really depicts the little messes in life, that are happening all around us, and as everyone is kind of focused on that, they notice that Fribbet is really he's in a little bit of distress. So my question here is.
Now I think you'll figure out why he's in distress in a minute.
Yes, exactly. So I'm curious, being that you take your stories from what's really happening in your life, and you're always on the Flying Dragon, the ship, with all your grandchildren around you. Was this something that, I mean, I know the base of the story took place in your family, but, was there a lot of crying and having to figure out what was wrong with this particular child? I mean, is this
actually,
mimicking?
No, not at all. But I just needed a plot. What had happened was every time I finish a Captain-No-Beard story, I think I'm finished, with the series. And then all of a sudden something happens, and I have to write a book about it. And what had happened was my daughter-in-law actually approached me and said to me, would you please, she was expecting, and we were thrilled, and she said to me, would you write a book to incorporate this new baby into the crew so that all of the children are represented in the crew? And so I